wanted a different story, another story, another truth, maybe something that wasn't wrought with so many obstacles in the first chapters of my life. I'm sure you're wondering why I'm carrying these. Well, we'll get to that. So I want you all to look and see that I'm dressed as a very successful businesswoman, right? We all get that. Well, this I wear occasionally, of course, for like pitches or fun events like this, but in my everyday life as a nanny for another family, and I'm going to do something very unorthodox in TED Talk, and I'm going to take off some of my business clothes, and I am wearing, of course, a cool t-shirt and my yoga pants, because how many moms wear yoga pants every day? Raise your hands. As my microphone is, of course, going to get caught. We knew this was going to have some issues, of course. We couldn't do it just as simple as that. Anyway, we're just going to go ahead and get undressed right here. Don't mind me. And everyone is grateful that I have these shoes on because they look really great with this outfit. And I won't put on the tennis shoes like Mr. Rogers does. We'll skip that. And I'll just stand in my socks. So every day, this is what I wear. So I am a single mother. That's what I do every day. That's who I am. And I'm very happy about it. It's something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that's really dear to my heart. So I want to talk a little bit about the single mother situation. These are my beautiful kids, as you can see. So a heroine of mine, now that I'm comfy, Ellen says, find out who you are and be that person. That is what your soul was put on this earth to be. Find that truth, live that truth, and everything else will come. She's pretty important to me, so I love to quote her. These are my beautiful kids here. So here's the honest truth of being a single mom. It's been an extremely tough road. I wanted to do a little bit of statistics. There are 12 million single parent families in the US. So if we take those 12 million single parents and the single mothers that are in that category make up 80% of those single mothers. And there are 31% of those 80% were food insecure, meaning they've gone to food banks, they've been on food stamps, and I can say, check, been there. 13% of those have used the food banks and, like I said, food stamps, and I have been there too. 31% have spent half their income on housing, which makes it extremely difficult to actually have any sort of life. So ends meet is very difficult. Also, single mothers are receiving child support. Of those, 45% of single mothers receive all of their child support. So yay for those dads. 29% receive partial, and 26% get nothing. So nothing from nothing is nothing. I'm sure everyone knows that. But it's very hard to think about that there are 2 million single mothers out there, a little over 2 million, that actually receive zero child support. They do it all on their own or with the help of hopefully family and friends if they have that. So the question is, how is someone like me or a single mother out there going to overcome this struggle? That is the question, especially if you do not have a college degree or education. We're going to do a little backstory on myself so you guys can understand a little bit of who I am. I was married very young, 18, and started out, my life thinking that I was just going to be a mom and that was going to be it. And unfortunately, sometimes those fairy tales don't come to pass. I grew up in the woods of Montana, and that's a teepee that we lived in. I'm the oldest. And as my Ellen always says, is if you obviously don't follow someone else's path unless you're lost in the woods, then by all means follow that path. I'm here to say, Ellen, guess what? There wasn't a path there for me to follow. So we were raised pretty poor. My family, we didn't discuss college. We basically were raised with the apocalyptic idea that you were going to be a hard worker. You have, milking goats, gardening, wool spinning. These were the traits that I was taught, which are great if society collapsed, but not so great in the real world. So growing up that way was very interesting. In fact, here are some fun pictures of a hillbilly hot tub. So, of course, it was fun. And also, we had some great lighting. That is a Coleman lantern. That's very exquisite lighting if you want to know where to get one of those. So, very fun. Also, I was raised in a very large family. I am the oldest of 17. And yes, my dad was a polygamist at one point. He had 2 wives and 3 for one period of time. Very grateful for my third mom, and as you see, there is my 2 moms in that picture. My mom is in the middle, and my second mom is on the edge. So grew up in a very large family, and my mom would take off a lot, so I ended up entrusted with raising my siblings. So at the age of 18, I got married and was actually entrusted on having a stepdaughter at the age of 18, which was a great blessing. And I also had 4 awesome, amazing, incredible kids of my own. My biggest loss that I had to deal with was when my stepdaughter was struck by a car and killed at the age of 12 as she was crossing to go see some friends. This was 5 days before Christmas and over a decade ago, but it's still pretty fresh. But that was one of the biggest losses that I had to deal with. After I got divorced, so we moved away from southern Utah, and our marriage kind of collapsed after the death of our daughter. I had to get back into the workforce field and discover what it was like to get out there and find a job. I was a waitress. I probably have 24 different job titles that you could put under my name. As you see here, I was a barista, but getting out in the workforce was terrifying. It was overwhelming, it was scary, but I knew that I had to do it for my kids. After I was divorced, I happened to fall into a terrible relationship. Now, this is one of those life lessons that you get to go on and discover how strong you are. I started dating my doctor at the time, and he was treating me for an autoimmune disorder I had. And so that turned into a lot of physical, emotional abuse that I don't want to go into too much detail, but it was a very difficult time. I ended up leaving him and starting over, and was very blessed to be able to do that with the strength and help of my children especially. So I want you guys to, I knew that I had to be the hero in my own life, so I wanted to share with you some of my little tips on how to be a hero in your own life. Reason for why you're doing what you're doing to be a single mother entrepreneur. You need to find out your big reason for what you're doing. It could be more time with your kids. It could be, going on more trips, or, just inspiring other people. The other one is I for inquire, and that is to ask questions because someone usually always has the answers. That's been the biggest hurdle for me, is putting myself out there and asking those questions, and usually someone knows someone. Survive. I know that word is a misused word, but I like to use survive as persevere, and it obviously holds an S in what I'm spelling here. So survive means working your tail off. It means going the extra mile. It means putting in the extra hours. It means putting in the extra money that it takes to get to your goals, your dreams, or whatever it is that you find as your reason why. I put ears closed as my E because the naysayers out there are going to tell you that your dream or your goals aren't good enough. And you're going to have to shut that out. And that was one of the biggest things, is to learn that when people tell you that it's not possible, you just have to say, you know what, I'm going to do it. Peace out. Rise Up is obviously my company, but it also holds a really true, deep meaning to me because it's about rising up and not letting someone else stand in your path or dictate your dreams or your opportunities of imagining better. So rise up for yourself, and thank you guys so very much.